Bothering me is that being a celebrity sometimes comes with, like, everybody wants to be successful in a celebrity and stuff like that, but it comes with, bullshit sometimes, and, you know, that's the only thing that I hate about it.
Watching him, he's with my man Charlie Mack. So Charlie was with me every step of the way. First out the limo. So Charlie has been with me, 30 years coming up in the business. So, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline, and he's going to be all right.
Will and Jada Smith are having a nasty start to 2026. And when I say nasty, I mean low-down dirty receipts of how they mess with young men allegedly who came to them for guidance and mentorship. One of them just so happens to be Bryshere Gray. According to Bryshere, what he suffered under Will Smith's so-called mentorship was so intense that it changed the direction of his life completely, taking him from a young promising Hollywood actor to getting his back blown out by other men in front of cameras. Will allegedly not only used him, but also groomed him to be pimped out by other men only for them to discard him once they were done with him. Allegedly, Bryshere started catching feelings for Will Smith, and this ran on for about a few years, and Bryshere really thought that he had someone who would protect him and be there for him. But the most painful part, according to Bryshere, is that as soon as he tried to do something for himself now that he was finally out of their bubble, Will and Jada blacklisted him from the industry so badly that no one would touch him with a 10-foot pole. And now he has nothing to lose. So there's no reason why he should stay silent any longer.
Besties, this till today is still one of the scariest transformations I've ever seen in my life. To go from this fine, young, rich, millions of followers, you know what I'm saying? You could start any business you want. You could do whatever you want. You are known around the world. Into this in a matter of years? Baby, this ain't just drugs.
Ever since Empire ended, Bryshere Gay's career trajectory has been super controversial. The way Hollywood rallied behind him and praised his skills as a rapper and an actor with big shots like Will Smith, who talked about mentoring him and taking his career to the A-list level, is crazy considering how he ended up. But somewhere along the line, Bryshere started acting out, getting blackballed, and he went from aspiring actor who had the potential to be a big movie star to an OnlyFans star. And for the sake of your eyes, please don't ever go near his Twitter page. And unfortunately, Bryshere's name was taken out of the conversation, and it would have remained out of sight if this recent news about Will and Jada's private life and what they were reportedly doing to young men seeking quote-unquote mentorship didn't hit the internet. Mind you, this is still being alleged, and Bryshere is now thinking of filing a $50 million lawsuit against Will. The suit was revealed as a blind item, and it read, "I suspect a soon-to-step-forward male victim of sexual assault by this A-list mogul will not be the last man to do so. Sean Diddy Combs." So this all really started unraveling after Will Smith was hit with another lawsuit from his former violinist Brian Scott Joseph, who accused him of SA. In the lawsuit, he talked about how Will allegedly spent personal time with him during his 2025 tour, and was talking about how he shared a special connection with Brian that wasn't there with anyone else. But slowly, Will's behavior started becoming increasingly creepy. As their relationship grew closer, Will told Brian, "You and I have such a special connection that I don't have with anyone else." And in March of 2025, his bag, which contained his hotel room key, went missing for several hours. Later that night, when Joseph returned, he found out that someone had unlawfully entered his room and left behind belongings, including wipes, a bottle of HIV medication with another individual's name, with a note that read, "Brian, I'll be back no later. Just us." Stone F. Brian took this as a warning that an unknown individual would soon return to his room and engage in sexual acts with him, and he feared that they intended for it to be with him. And when he reported it to Will's team, he got shamed for it and fired, and that's why he filed the lawsuit. Brian is also alleging that Will tried to groom him for a sexual relationship, and it was because he refused that Will's attitude turned sour towards him.
About this is because getting fired or getting blamed or shamed or threatened or anything like that simply for reporting sexual misconduct or safety threats at work is not okay. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there who have been afraid to speak up, and I understand. And if that's you, I see you. And that's pretty much it.
Now it's going to be difficult for him to prove the harassment part of the lawsuit, But if there's someone that came back with receipts of Will's nasty behavior is Bryshere Gray. And it is Will's former best friend and assistant who was out here going on interviews talking about Bryshere being used by Will. He started talking about how Will Smith used the guise of mentorship and guidance to lure young actors and entertainers who wanted to make it in the industry. So Bryshere accepted it, but it didn't take long for him to realize that it wasn't just going to be getting roles and working. He was being invited to parties. Those Diddy kind of parties. And anytime Bryshere would reportedly ask why he had to do any of that, Will would tell him that he needed to put in the work and pay his dues before he could have a seat at the table.
Bryshere Gray. So long story short, when I'm in Chicago, this guy's acting erratic. Like, I mean, crazy. He's getting stopped by the cops. There's male prostitutes involved. There's mental illness involved. There's drug use involved. And I'm really trying to see what happened to this guy. And one day he said, you know what happened. You know that Will R-worded me, or however y'all kind of say it on YouTube. You know that Diddy sexually assaulted me. And you know Charlie Mack made me suck his private part. Right? And I'm like, whoa. This was a full admittance. And he's going, and I'm like, I didn't know anything. He's in the corner, balled up, snot, so much sweating and pain that blood is coming from his nose, right? And this is me and him in a conversation. And he was like, please don't tell him. Please don't tell him, right? Will admitted to me that he had sex with Bryshere Gray, but it was consensual, right? So I'm like, okay, so now it's starting to make sense, because I would have never believed that the way this guy's acting, something had to happen. So now, Will told me, and this is going to be in paperwork and everything, right? So when Will told me that he did have sexual intercourse with Bryshere, he said Bryshere did ask him to stop. Will said he completed the act, then stopped. Right then and there, when a person says stop, that means stop. Period. So I do believe that Will Smith sexually assaulted Bryshere Gray. Charlie Mack and Will gets a lawyer for Bryshere, and they try to get me under NDA. I tell Will, I'm not signing. I don't even have an NDA with you. How am I getting an NDA with him? You understand what I'm saying? So I hire a lawyer, right? Mm-hmm. When I hire the lawyer, he comes back and say, listen, this is the best I can do. He said, I'm going to have y'all do a mutual NDA, meaning that Bryshere can't tell people that you know that Will and Diddy sexually assaulted him. And I want to say the R word, but I know we're on YouTube. Then you can't say nothing about him. So I said, okay, well, as long as he stopped telling people that I know what Will and Diddy did to him. You understand what I'm saying? Period. That was the problem. So there's legal paperwork, and it's all going to be, and you got to follow this case. All that's coming out in court.
And it was only when Bryshere couldn't take it any longer and started acting out that Will discarded him because he was afraid of Bryshere's behavior affecting his brand.
Now, he's a gay porn star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell? I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life, and what you had to do with it.
At first, Bryshere's story would have been brushed off as a money grab, but his wild allegations have now been backed by none other than Brother Below, Will's longtime friend of 40 years. He's claiming that he was there to witness what Bryshere said and knew for a fact that Will and Diddy did something sinister to Bryshere.
Ooh. So, but normally I have to go to Will's house if there's a meeting. So Will comes to my apartment allegedly, and Charlie Mack, the rat, the informant, come to my apartment. So they was like, hey, B, look, man, we got this new guy Will is mentoring. His name is Bryshere Gray. Everybody call him Yaz. He's about to get cast on this major show. That was I'm like, okay, what you want? I'm thinking they coming to get product. Bryshere was supposed to allegedly star in the reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So I said, look, Will, I said, what do you want me to do? He said, I want you to go to Chicago and hold this guy down. I remember like it was yesterday. I turned the computer around. I said, Will, that's what's in my bank account right now, right? Will started laughing, right? And said, I'm gonna make sure you get double that over the course of time. That's my guarantee. So I'm like, jeez. I said, okay. So he said, just make sure.
When he started working, Bryshere was managed by Will's longtime friend, Charlie Mack. So it didn't take long for Charlie to introduce the two. Will was interested in him to the point that he told Bala to assist Bryshere while he was working on Empire. At first, everything was normal, but then out of nowhere, Bryshere started acting erratic and restless, and he went from a regular actor trying to make it in Hollywood to partying nonstop, doing drugs and sleeping around with prostitutes. At first, Below didn't know what was going on with him. In fact, no one did. And nothing that he could do or say could stop Bryshere from wing out until one day Below heard something that he was never meant to know.
I'm in Chicago. This guy's acting erratic. Like, I mean, crazy. He's getting stopped by the cops. There's male prostitutes involved. There's mental illness involved. There's drug use involved. And I'm really trying to see what happened to this guy. And one day he said, you know what happened. You know that Will R-worded me, or however y'all kind of say it on YouTube. You know that Diddy sexually assaulted me. And you know Charlie Mack made me suck his private part. Right? And I'm like, whoa. This was a full admittance.
While he was trying to talk Bryshere down from the path that he was headed, Bryshere suddenly blurted out that Will and Puffy did something to him. At the time, Bryshere thought that Below knew and was just trying to cover for them. It was only after he saw his reaction that Bryshere told him that Will and Diddy gave him some money and whatever they promised him and sent him on his way. But he really hasn't been the same since then. Like something in him was lost.
To put it, this dude is going crazy, right? He's out there allegedly with male prostitutes. He's pissing in the trailer. He's acting psychotic, right?
The same thing he's doing now.
Beyond that. But this is why a show is going on. I pull him to the side. I said, listen, I'm here to help you and so forth and so on. So he was like, all right, I feel that. He said, everybody on the set know you. Everybody seem like they love you. Okay. I want to love you because everybody else love you. I said, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But he kept acting up. And then one day I said, what the F is wrong with you? And he was like, you know. He said, you know Will raped me. You know Diddy made me suck his penis. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, yo, listen. So I grabbed my husband. I said, listen, I don't know. I didn't know what happened. Nothing. I was just asked to come. Is this true? Yeah, no, I'm gonna let you about to see if it's true.
Brother Bilal had been going in on Jada, and Will like his life depended on it. And child, he has said a lot. He talked about how he saw Will and Dwayne Martin on the bed with Will, allegedly drilling him like he was making a journey to the center of the earth. He also went on Tasha K and dragged Jada to filth to the point that she threatened to file a lawsuit against him. But Brother Below stood his ground. He wasn't out here trying to extort them or anything like that. And if Jada was so sure he was lying, then she should go and file a lawsuit and see what comes out of it.
Will, and once again, they was willing to give me the money, but what they wanted me to do, I wasn't going to do that for the money. And I knew that alleged things have happened with younger kids. I knew that there were some egregious acts from on a sexual nature done to people. That money, I called it the devil money. If I would have took that money, right, that money would have done me no good. You understand what I'm saying? That money could have been my downfall. That's why I didn't take that money. People are like, oh, he trying to get money. Okay, well, if I'm trying to get money, why didn't I take that money?
Still, out of everything he said, the way he just backed up Bryshere's claims against Will Smith fit the final piece in the puzzle. It's one thing for Bryshere to say it and have his claims dismissed as a money grab, but coming out with receipts really puts things into perspective for the price that Bryshere had to pay just to get his foot in the door only to get burned. But what do you guys think about all of this? Do you think there's any truth to it? Sound off in the comments and make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye baddies.